Now, when it comes to the epic saga of gaming, it's unfolded across many diverse realms, from the sleek battlefields of high-end PCs, going to the wonderland of the latest home video game console, and not forgetting the ingenuity of handheld gaming. It's pretty fair to say that the world of video games has certainly evolved over the years. But before all of this, there existed a realm where gaming prowess was measured in tokens, and high scores were achieved by local legends. This, of course, was arcade gaming. In these hallowed halls, if you will, you weren't just a player, you were a gladiator, ready to face the challenges of many pixelated foes. And speaking of that, there are many legendary titles within the arcade, and over the decades I've enjoyed quite a few. So join me as I share some of my personal favourites, and let's see if yours makes my list.
Okay.
And of course, starting the list at number 10 is the endearing Pac-Man. In the grand history of arcade gaming, Pac-Man is the timeless classic. Released in 1980, Pac-Man transformed players into a voracious yellow circle, gobbling pellets and avoiding colourful ghosts. And with its deceptively simple gameplay and the pursuit of the perfect high score, Pac-Man was turned into a cultural icon. But do you have what it takes to avoid the ghosts and achieve that perfect score? Racing at breakneck speeds at number 9 is Daytona USA. Daytona USA is a landmark title that set new standards for 3D arcade racing. The game itself featured realistic graphics for the time, and when you combine this with its fast-paced gameplay, it helped to immerse players into the world of high-speed racing. So make sure you keep up that prime position of being in first place. Fighting to win at number 8 is Virtua Fighter 2. Sega's Virtua Fighter 2 wasn't just a fighting game for many, it was a 3D martial arts spectacle. This game helped to elevate the fighting genre to another level. This, of course, showcased Sega's commitment to pushing the boundaries of arcade graphics. However, you must never underestimate your opponent, for you never know what they might have hidden up their sleeve. Surviving the horrors at number 7 is House of the Dead 2. In the eerie corridors of Sega's House of the Dead 2, every step brought you closer to the undead. Armed with light guns, players face a relentless onslaught of zombies, mutants and grotesque creatures. With its chilling atmosphere, heart-pounding boss battles, and the satisfaction of clearing each stage, made House of the Dead 2 a spine-tingling classic. So you need to ask yourself, do you have what it takes to overcome the horrors that lay within House of the Dead 2? Fighting for freedom of all mankind at number 6 is X-Men the arcade game. Yes, X-Men the arcade game was a mutant-powered extravaganza that stole the hearts of arcade goers in 1992. As one of 6 iconic X-Men, players would fight their way through waves of Sentinels and classic villains in this amazing side-scrolling beat-em-up. But can the X-Men stop the evil forces of Magneto? Saving the world at number 5 is Time Crisis 2. The year was 1998, and Namco's Time Crisis 2 introduced a revolutionary concept to arcades, and this was cover-based shooting. This cinematic action, cooperative gameplay created an adrenaline-fueled experience that made Time Crisis 2 a standout hit when it came to arcade shooting. And even now, several decades later, this game still draws a crowd in any arcade. Travelling through time to stop the evil Shredder at number 4 is Turtles in Time. Turtles in Time is an iconic beat-em-up that captured the hearts of arcade goers as well as its fans. And in this game, it allowed up to 4 players to control the beloved Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. With its smooth controls, vibrant graphics, and that cooperative multiplayer action, Turtles in Time was simply perfect, and it's easy to see why it remains a cherished part of gaming nostalgia. Bringing the pain at number 3 is Mortal Kombat 2. Mortal Kombat 2 elevated the fighting gaming genre to all new levels, especially with its darker aesthetic. And when you combine this with its intense combat and the controversial finishing moves, Mortal Kombat 2 solidified its place in arcade gaming history. But my question to the viewers at home is, do you have what it takes to save Earthrealm from the evil forces of Outworld? Speeding along the sun-kissed sands at number 2 is Outrun. Ah yes, it's no secret that I absolutely love Outrun. And when it was released in 1986, Outrun wasn't just a game for many, it was a road trip fantasy come to life. With its branching paths and that unforgettable soundtrack, it was a high-octane experience that would take players along pixelated highways as well as sun-kissed sands. And for many, like I said, it was perhaps the perfect gaming experience. So if you get the opportunity to play this absolute classic of a game, you certainly won't be disappointed. And finally, with a Hadouken at number 1 is the legendary Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 2, this seminal fighting game released by Capcom, is a cornerstone of arcade history. Players could choose from a global roster, engaging in intense one-on-one battles. But what made Street Fighter 2 an absolute joy to play was its precise controls. But if you had to choose between the multiple copies of Street Fighter 2, I would have to say the pinnacle of the series was of course Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. But more importantly, who is your go-to character, and do you have what it takes to win the World Martial Arts competition? So there you have it, my personal favourites of the arcade. But I'd love to know what yours are, and I'll be interested to see what makes the cut.
You're goddamn right.
Anyway, come back next time for the return of the cartoon guy, as he takes a look at a certain World Martial Arts competition. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next game.